When you have conviction and experiences that are so strong, nobody can take those truths away from you, ever. Hi, I'm Judy Marie, and I am sharing with you my story of why and how I am so embedded and committed to natural health and healing. The mind, our thoughts, are massive to the rest of the body healing. So 2 years later, after I did a lot of detoxifying, made many changes, I got very ill. My gland on the right side of my face swelled up past my cheekbone, ran a high fever for a long time. I got so ill, I had to be carried around, and I knew something else was on the horizon that I didn't encounter before. I didn't know what to do, and I knew I was not going to have another surgery. But I went to the emergency room, and the doctor indicated the fluid in this gland has built up so much, if it would bust, it goes to the brain. You rarely would live through something like that. My throat was starting to close up. I had a very hard time breathing, swallowing. And a good friend of mine shared with me that her husband can help me. He does hypnotherapy. And again, here's another word I wasn't familiar with, but I had that feeling. And that feeling is called intuition. That feeling is the infinite wisdom of the universe that starts speaking through us. And it's a lot of times we want to brush it aside, we want to ignore it, and I can't. Today, I won't. It is the magic. It is the power that really breathes through every part of our being. And so anyways, I said, sure, I want to see what he would want to do. So he came to my house that night. We did some hypnotherapy. And in the center of the gland that was swollen up past my cheekbone, so big, visualized that there's a bird stuck inside of me. I was like a bird in a cage. I thought I was stuck. I didn't realize that the cage wasn't locked. And a lot of times we may feel stuck in our life or think we can't get out or we can't see it any other way or feel it. And he helped me to visualize this bird coming out through the center of this gland in my face. And to this day, I still have a hole in the center of the gland, a real big dent in there. And he said, remember, you need balance. Time to rest, time to soar, time to eat, drink water, balance. And I didn't ever know that. I didn't even know what that meant, how to experience that. Ever since then, I never separated the physical body from the mental body, from the emotional body, from the spiritual body. No, it's all interconnected. And that was a big turning point as I was continuing to consult and work with clients, and as I was learning more with the iridology, which is the study of the iris. I became an herbologist. I studied with Dr. Bernard Jensen, some amazing people in this country. Hannah Kroger, she was one of my teachers as well. And the body just kept healing on levels. And this is the piece that I want to share. A lot of times what we're feeling this lifetime didn't even come from this lifetime. It's accumulative. It came from many lifetimes. And so some of us are here to completely clear up all the debris from our family lineage. And that's what I did, and that's what I'm doing. I've agreed to that, I believe, before coming to this earth. I believe we've made these choices. The parents we're coming into, the pathways we're coming into. What will open us up the most spiritually? What will align us the most to our purpose and our calling here on this earth? And that's what keeps coming to me still to this day. And there's no end. This is so exciting. I know some of you say, you know, I have a hard time understanding this. I have a hard time believing this. This is a new language. Yeah, it sure is. I get it. All this was so foreign to me. You know, learning about a healing crisis, learning about detoxification, learning about 2 reasons why the body gets out of balance, deficiency and toxicity. But this is not hard. This is nature working with nature. And when we open up to that and realize this isn't witchcraft, this isn't voodoo, it doesn't mean, you know, whatever a lot of the judgments and oh my goodness, there are so many things I've heard people say about me throughout the years, and I would say that's interesting, that's fascinating, and way back at the time too, I was learning a lot from Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and it was so great, you know, where he says the opinion of others is just none of my business. When you have conviction and experiences that are so strong, nobody can take those truths away from you, ever. And so what they think of you, what they say about you, or what they would say about me, my family, my friends, churches. Yeah, I was baptized 5 different times. I was excommunicated several times, you know. Only in this search, we're trying to find, this is a soul search, you know, what's our truth, what's our connection, what's this higher power thing, what's this higher self thing, you know, we're remembering where we've come from, what we're here to do. Nothing came overnight, and nothing generally will go away overnight. But here's where I do believe in the power of miracles. We might say they're supernatural, but they are natural. Everybody can have access to this if you believe. If you believe is the key. During the process of healing my spine, I also had a bone marrow transplant in the divine world. And I saw it so clearly one night, and my bone marrow was completely restored. A number of years later, when I had breast cancer, which predominantly runs in my family, I have chosen to treat it naturally. In that process, I learned so much at the core. What are the thought forms behind these conditions? What are the patterns that have been with women in my lineage for so long? You know, we need to ask these questions. What tends to, and I'll tell you, I had an experience where I had a blood transfusion. It was night and day when my healing started to take place after that. But everything supported that. You know, people think, okay, I'm going to try this, I'm going to do that. It didn't do anything. But maybe it did. Maybe it got you closer to more of your answers and more of your solutions. You know, everything is still connecting. Everything is still leading to whatever it is. And it's so important that our healing will mostly become whole and activated when we can connect the thought forms to the specific organs, when we can connect the habits and our behaviors that are keeping those energies in place. I wanted to know about the psychological patterns that were repeated in my family, in lineage, so I can make these changes in my physical body, but mostly in my spiritual body, mostly in my heart. Before, I remember it was the first time I was able to read a book and begin to comprehend it. That was so exciting. To me, it might be, let's say you were blind all your life, and one day you start to see everything. Okay? Everything just starts to come alive. That's the way it felt when I started to read a book and I could remember what was in the book. That was tremendous. I also had in this process an amazing experience from a friend. Good soul friends will be honest with you with such love and compassion when they see you need some help. And one day, prior to some of these changes happening, we were driving to, actually I was going to get a colonic for the first time. That's colon irrigation, which was foreign to me before then. And she was one of the best in Hollywood who did colon irrigation to a lot of the movie stars. And we're driving, I said, on the way, I need to stop and get my Diet Dr. Pepper and peanut M&Ms. Okay, this is really before all this was anchoring in with me pretty strongly, making the changes. And she said, would you pull over the car a minute? And I'm like, sure. You know, I'm not sure what she was upset about. And she said, Judy, what sweetness are you missing in your life? Oh my gosh, my heart just opened up even wider. She was spot on. I was eating and drinking artificially the sweetness that I was missing in my soul. And I said, thank you, thank you. I got to think about this. That day was the last day I had a Diet Dr. Pepper. That day was the last day I was going to allow myself to be addicted to peanut M&Ms. And this was before I started making a lot of nutritional changes. But I wanted to share that sugar cane and cocaine are very similar energetically, okay, and what things can do to your body. And the sugar was a real drug to me. Yes, I came off muscle relaxers, pain pills, other meds. Now it was time to come off another drug, and it was sugar. And sugar just deteriorates the body. And so that was another profound change. I mean, when the lights go on, it's amazing. You start seeing the truth about different things you had no idea. And this isn't about you go back and say, well, my mom and dad never taught me this, or I never learned this in school. Goodness gracious, there comes a point where you just get over it and just, hey, whatever, be open to learning, studying, make the changes, whatever it takes. And it's going to take time. People want a Band-Aid on it. They want things so fast. They want a pill that's just going to fix everything. What does that do? What will that actually do for a person? Does that make them stronger within themselves? Does that bring any more level of peace and happiness? Does that really heal anything? I'm more interested, and this is the part I love about iridology. This is the part I love about nature healing nature. It gets to the root, okay, and the toxicity and the root issues, whether it's a mindset, you know, whatever it is, will start to deteriorate. And you want that. And you want to grow the roots that are more life-sustaining. You know, what is that? Wow. You know, when I started doing affirmations, oh, that's another game changer. When I started to learn that, form follows thought. Wow, it sure does. What we think about grows. And when I started learning about affirmations and learning from Louise Hay, and I was very fortunate to be able to meet her and spend some time with her, and learned that the negative thoughts do this to your body organs, certain organs, and the negative thoughts do this to the cells. And here's the positive affirmation that can actually start to change the vibration into that cell, and therefore it may receive the nutrients a lot better. It was life opening up.